Our grain analyst this week is Darin Fessler of Lakefront Futures and Options. The Russian invasion of Ukraine continues to be the news that creates volatility in the grain market. On Tuesday, President Joe Biden banned oil imports from Russia. In return, Russia announced it would be halting exports of certain commodities and raw materials. I began the discussion with Darin by asking him which piece of news lately has been most impactful. Our grain analyst this week is Darin Fessler of Lakefront Futures and Options. Darin, always great to have you here on Market Journal.
Yes, thank you.
Well, with this Russia-Ukraine situation, a lot of news that comes out every single day. What has been the most fascinating piece of news, though, that has caught your attention?
Just all the things the world is trying to throw at Russia, and trying to address, the world's needs for fertilizer, oil, and how big of Russia is player in all of that, and how does that relate to the ag markets? And I think that's something that the market in itself is trying to decipher, and that's why you're seeing such wild swings in these markets. It's why you're seeing volatility in wheat in close to 100%. And you're seeing wheat move $1, $1.50 in a day, $2 in a day. I mean, the market is really trying to gauge what the supply strains would be if we took Russia out of the picture, and that is a very difficult equation to assume right now on any bullish or bearish positions.
We are recording today's conversation on Tuesday afternoon. Right before we came on here, it was announced that Russia has decided to ban the export of products and raw materials outside of the Federation until December 31st. That has a big impact on the commodity sector, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking at this from a holistic approach. And to me, that would mean that we're going to be pinched for fertilizer supplies probably in the fall here in the United States. What about Brazil? Obviously, we know Brazil is a huge ag producer, along with Argentina, Paraguay, Uruguay. Is there going to be a backdoor through China? And that's the approach I'm trying to take. That I still think Brazil is going to get these fertilizer. I don't know about the U.S., but you look at how much billions of dollars China has put in Brazil. I still think the Brazilian producer is going to get the fertilizer, but it's going to be indirectly bought probably from the Chinese.
I've got three charts in front of me: corn, soybeans, and wheat. Which one fascinates you the most right now?
Well, it fascinates me, or it scares me the most. It's probably wheat.
Yeah.
Some tremendous opportunities there for Kansas wheat growers in general. If you can just do HTAs, if you can just do cash sales, forward sales type of thing. I think that if you look at longer term, though, the corn market very interests me quite a bit here. I still think we got to get through the planting intentions. We got to get through weather. Do we have enough fertilizer needs? Do we have enough acreage? At the end of the day, corn's still a huge producer. I mean, we're still a huge producer. Corn's using a lot of different things. I think corn at the end of the day is probably the most interesting to me. I think if there was a year where corn could get to that $8, $9 mark with hypersensitive news headlines, or beans up towards 18 or 19, 20 bucks, I think it could be this year. But I don't think producers should plan on that. They should, again, step back, manage the emotions first, and then manage the risk.
So let's talk a little bit more about that. You don't think we've reached the high in these three markets, do you?
If we run into weather, if we don't get the acres, I know there's a lot of ifs there, but because of the headlines and everything that's going on around the world right now, I think the highs could still be yet to come, I should say.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. When it comes to the situation in Ukraine, has the market realized this as a long-term problem at this point, or is it still addressing it day-to-day, short-term?
Nearby, I think it's a short-term issue that could turn into a much larger issue. What we really need to do is we need to get all parties, all sides together here and listen to each other. And I don't feel like that is getting accomplished right now. And again, that's creating for more volatility in these markets, not just ags, but look at the energy sector. Russia, huge producer and exporter of energy in itself. So that in turn is going to affect these ags. So I think there's going to be a lot of volatility yet to come here in these markets.
You tweeted something out and you hinted at it here. I want to dive a little bit deeper in it. The more the West does, the worse it will get, you say on Twitter. The winner will be China and Brazil, especially when it comes to agriculture. What do you mean by that?
I think that we're still going to be able to get some products that, even that they're sanctioned or embargoed, whatever, how you want to say it, from Russia, I think it's all going to be indirectly somehow related to China. I think if you look at what China's done, they've been very, very quiet. They're not really saying much. And to me, I've always taken the approach from China, don't watch what China says. Watch what China does. They've been buying a lot of U.S. products. They've been buying more Black Sea wheat over the fall time frame. I think China is going to become a much bigger player in this, and that could relate to U.S. fertilizer needs. Maybe we're not going through directly to Russia or the Black Sea. Maybe we're buying our fertilizer directly from China. We're still, I think, going to get that fertilizer somehow. China still needs the products.
Final thing for you, what piece of risk management advice would you like to leave us with, if any?
Yeah, these are wild times. There's some great opportunities out here, but I think the first thing producers have to do is manage the emotions. Emotions can really, you're seeing record highs, you're seeing highs since 2008. Manage the emotions, keep things at risk here, or watch your risk, keep things off the marginable side of things. So watch those marginable type positions.
Darin, appreciate you coming back on Market Journal.
Thank you so much.